What's up, everybody? How to master three-way calls. This is one of those ones I had no idea how it worked, what it was about, why we did it. In fact, I hated it when we first started, and I think the reason why I hated it was because the way it was taught. I'm going to show you kind of a real simple way that I figured it out, that we were able to use it, and I actually helped one of my team become one of the #1 recruiters in the state in our company, just by doing this one technique. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Gamble. Have a background in traditional business. Also, been in network marketing for almost 20 some years. So, have a little bit of background in that. Also, a John C. Maxwell certified speaker, sales trainer, and coach. And what I want to get into today is how to do three-way calls, what I would call the easy way. If you're looking for an easy way to figure this out, most of the time three-way calls are taught by doing this. You're supposed to be excited, edify the person, answer the question, and tell that person that you're talking to that they walk on water. And what I'm referring to is being the expert. And it's said that anybody can be an expert, and basically that's bullshit. Anybody cannot be an expert. A person who knows how to do this can be an expert. But if they don't know how to do this, anybody cannot be an expert. But anybody can learn it. So that's, I think, what they were trying to say. Here's my view of through a call. First of all, to get to the three-way call, you first must contact, invite, present, and then after a presentation is done, you can ask the closing question that I've been teaching on these videos, which is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you'd refer me or need some more information, or 10, this might be something for you, where are you at? And that's a real easy way to ask. Now, they're going to come out and say, I'm a 9, 7, 8, 5. I mean, they're going to give all kinds of numbers. If they're 5 up to about 9, or 5 up till 9, what I'll do is I typically would use a third-party call at that point. And what I'd say is, well, I know we have an event coming up. Let me see if a friend of mine knows when it is and where it is. So I always use that as the excuse to be able to call. So then I'm going to call somebody who knows how to do this. For instance, a friend of mine, I taught how to do this, and he got the whole plan really well. I would call him, and I'd be like, hey, his name's Shimmick. I say, hey, Shimmick, I'm sitting here with John Smith, and John was wondering when the event was, and I know you know where it is and when it is. Is there any way you could tell him real quick? I got to run out to the car. I got to run to the restroom. And I would hand my phone to him. So that was the easiest thing to me if I was face-to-face. If not, I would basically third-party that person onto the call, and I'd say, hey, real quick, I was trying to figure this out. Is there any way you can give him directions? So here's how it starts. Number 1, get somebody who knows how to fucking do this. Don't get somebody who's just guessing. So, and teach them, instruct them if they don't know how to do it, practice it. And if they suck, don't use them again. Because this is your money. This is how you make money. This is how you recruit people to bring onto your team, to recruit people to bring on your team, to recruit people to bring on your team and duplicate. So number 1, get somebody who knows how to do it. Number 2, use something called form. I always use form. I teach people to ask the question, hey, by the way, how do you know, in this example, how do you know, Mr. Smith, how do you know Jeff? And that person's going to say, well, I met him, it was cold contact, or he's going to come out and say, well, I'm his best friend, or something like that. Doesn't it make sense based on who that person is and the relationship to that person has a lot to do with the conversation? If you don't understand that, you don't know what business you're in, because this is network marketing, which means you're marketing through a network of people, and it really depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to their brother, dad, parent, somebody like that, totally different conversation than, hey, I met this guy at the gas station, kind of sketchy, I don't know. I mean, I sat down, the program looks good, but I don't know about this guy. So then I need to kind of, talk about the person. So after form, I'm going to say, yeah, great guy. I've actually worked with him for a while, and, knows what he's doing. So there's the edification part. And I was just wondering, so now you've seen the whole program. So on a scale of 1 to 10, kind of where you at? Understand that the third-party person has to ask the exact same question that you do. Because if they don't, it's incongruent. Meaning, you're asking this question and this other person's asking this kind of question, and people are like, it just doesn't make sense. It's going to give them an uneasy feeling. But watch this. When somebody says, this is what I say, if this is an example of, what I say, and somebody comes back with this on the third party call, it's congruent. They seem like it's the same thing. So like, oh, these people are like, they know what they're doing. And that feeling of confidence and that feeling of trust comes in right away. So again, the third party person is going to ask Mr. Smith in this example, so on a scale of 1 to 10, like, where are you at now that you've looked at everything? If I walk out of the room, go to the restroom, hey, I got to go do something real quick, I click off or mute my phone out, probably that person's going to have a different conversation with them than if I was sitting right there. Now, we're talking about the difference between face-to-face and over the phone. It works the same. Mute yourself out. And here's the job of the person who presented, who's asking for the three-way call. Your job is to shut the hell up. Don't say anything. Shut up. Don't talk. Anything you say can and will mess up the deal. Just let it go. I had to say that really strongly to some people because some people would be like, they sounded, I wanted to nickname them Echo because I was like, yeah, it's a great company. And they're like, oh yeah, and it's a great company. And I was like, and it's done this much in volume. And they're like, oh, and it's done this much in volume. I'm like, I do not need to hear myself twice, and neither does the person we're talking to. Just shut up and listen. Actually, I would take notes. That way you have something to do to fiddle with. Let the person doing the three-way call do the three-way call. Your job is not to say anything at all. I don't care what they missed. I don't care what they said. I don't care if the numbers, anything you say screws up the deal. So just don't talk. And, people are like, wow, you're really strong about that. Is that really how you talk? I'm like, yes, that is how I talk, because this is money. This is business. I'm not here to, save the trees. We're building a business. So, if you screw up my deal in real estate, I'm going to be I just won't use you again. They're going to say 7, 8, 9. Well, that person's then going to ask, well, what is that about? Why do you feel that way? Or what makes you say that? That's a good one. What makes you say that? Why are you a number? Why are you a 7? Well, I just kind of had some questions about this, this, and this. Their job is to direct that person to an event. Direct that person to an event. Well, it sounds like, you might have some questions over, obviously if you're hearing this over the phone, or obviously if you saw a video, or obviously if we just talked to you for the first time, you probably need to see it again. And, I had some questions too. That's normal. That's normal that people have questions and they're just kind of like, what? But what we found is people who attend the events, they get to see it again, actually have it drawn out maybe by somebody else. I know there's an event coming up. Here's where it is. Here's when it is. So obviously make sure the person knows where and when the next event is that you're directing them to. What I'll do is I could text that to the person who put you on the phone and Mr. Smith. That way you can get that information. You can show up and kind of see how this works. Does that sound good? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, great. You're working with a great person. That the guy that you're working with knows what they're doing, and is new but successful at what they're doing. So yeah, come out, check out the event. Very cool. Meet a lot of good people. Get to see it again. That at that point, you'll know one way or another if this is something for you or not. Person's like, cool. I talked to 2 people now, and nobody tried to hard close me. I feel confident. I've actually had people say, man, that's so awesome the way you do this. Can I bring somebody with me to the event? I've actually had a guest bring a guest. Now, you're doing it right when a guest is bringing a guest. So guys, that's my view of three-way calls. Make sure it's congruent. Make sure you're working with somebody you know. Make sure that person kind of builds a little bit of rapport and finds out who the hell this person is and how they're connected. So that way you can talk to them, talk to them based on who they are. And with that, share this video, like this video, tell me your thoughts, send me a comment, and we'll hear you on the next call or the next video.